Welcome to Madmen. Today we are talking about getting out of the stands at SKO.
Ooh, it's that time of year again.
It is, yeah, SKOs, GKOs, all these different naming conventions for it, but we
It's
know
like
what...
old MacDonald had a farm, SK. Oh,
Yes, exactly.
what's your favorite letter to put in front of the KO, the kickoff?
I think the G, full go-to-market team.
Oh, GKO. Yeah,
Yeah.
like it.
But I don't really care about the name. I care about what happens there.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you mean late nights, free bars? No?
Yeah, exactly. Maybe also a bit
You
of
look at me like,
No, you know that I'm not really into those things anyways,
no.
but it does happen at an event like that, right? So the fatigue is there, the energy may be
Jet
low.
lag.
Yeah, where it's like one of the biggest investments that company make to kick off the year in a powerful way.
Right. And obviously we joke, but you really we've seen them all, right? We've seen brilliant. More so, typically, we do see some really, really great kickoffs, but occasionally, every now and then, I've certainly been part of one as an individual contributor and an employee. They're not so great. So, what for you differentiates a good one from a bad one?
Yeah, I think the good ones are where there's like hands-off stuff happening. So there's like a good balance between presentations, keynotes, and where you get to do things yourself to kind of like bridge what you find there into like the real world that you operate in. But I think that has like two sides as well, because in on one end, like the event is what it is. And this may sound contrived or like, yeah, of course, but the way that you show up as an individual can be a very conscious decision. And that's why we say get out of the stands, right? Because like this event has been put together, a lot of resourcing behind it. And the amount of value that you get out of it is directly dependent on how you decide to show up. I'll be honest, like I've been to SKOs where I would optimize the agenda for as much pool time as possible, right? In like a place like Vegas.
Yeah, but I know you very, very well. I think better than most people do, and I know that is not your natural approach. So that for me tells me that the organization you were a part of hadn't pulled on your craving to be a part of something really special. And I think that's a really, really clear part of this. It's not just, the onus doesn't just sit with the people attending the SKO.
Of course.
It has to be an event where people feel like this is, we've been brought together here. I'm bought into this company. I'm bought into this product. I believe in everything we're doing. And this is our chance to get together, like huddle, like make this happen and make this next year the best year we can possibly have. And so that's a split responsibility. That's as much down for the individual as the organizers. And the organizers really, in my mind, hold a lot of responsibility. They want to make sure, and we talk about this a lot, but the way we approach SKOs of our partners is like, well, how expensive is this? Not just the travel, not just the hotels, but the people in that room. Even if you hosted it at head office, right, and everyone lives nearby, it's still extremely expensive because everybody's time is every minute is multiplied by the minute rate of everyone in that room, and not just their cost to the business, the opportunity cost side. If they're not there, what are they doing? They're outselling, creating revenue. So that's huge. So the idea of approaching SKO should be like every second should count. We should make sure that every second is working towards that goal of momentum, excitement, towards next year. I'll tell you a story of like the complete opposite of this. I once worked for an organization. I think I'd say it was Oracle, and we had like a European kickoff. I think it was in Madrid. I bet some people have been to this hotel. It's like a massive hotel complex, but it's also like fenced off. You can't get out. It felt like a bit like a low security prison with maybe nice hotel rooms. Anyway, it was a week-long thing. But on the Friday, there was nothing on the agenda. And a few of my colleagues were like, I'm going to change my flight. If there's nothing on the agenda, I'm going to go. And so me being, perhaps a little bit more, I don't know what the word is. There's different people who call me different things at this point. But I thought, I'm not just going to leave. I'll check. And they're like, no, you can't leave. You have to be here. The itinerary says you have to be here. So, and there's a big surprise for you. Is that what they started realizing was people were starting to say they're going to leave. So they said there's going to be this big surprise on the Friday morning. So I was like, oh, okay, this could be interesting. My mind started to wonder. I thought maybe it's like, is Larry Ellison going to fly in? He's got his entire European sales team in this hotel. Maybe that would be a great thing, or Mark Hurd or Safra, anyone flying in. And so we got excited and we get into this massive auditorium, right? And bearing in mind, I'm feeling like I've been away all week. I miss my kids, miss my family. It's been intense. It's all good, bought in, but like an extra day, hope it's worth it, right, by this point. And I sit down in this massive auditorium. There's loads of people there. And they say, reach under your chairs. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be good. Maybe, my mind's going like, Larry said, maybe he's given us all iPods or something. He's worth $1 gazillion, right? I'm getting excited. And I pull out, I kid you not, a pair of marigold rubber gloves. And I'm looking around thinking, is this a joke? Where's my iPad? Where's the gift? Everyone else has got the gloves, right? They're all different colors, but everyone has gloves. And we're told to put them on, right? And basically... a few of the leaders came out. There'll be people listening to this who were probably there to confirm this. The leaders came out and they played, I don't even know what song it was, but basically, I don't know if anyone's done this before. I haven't, but if you're into this is your thing. If you wear rubber gloves and clap your hands together, it makes much louder noise.
Right.
And that was it. So the leadership team came out and they mimed to this song. We all had to clap at a certain point. And that was it. That was the Friday. And so this is me taking a really long, big, boring story probably to point out that they had obviously booked the venue and run out of things and then thought, well, we've paid for the last day. We don't want people leaving. And then somehow bodged this thing. I like to think that maybe the rubber gloves were planned because who can find, it was probably like 3,000 pairs of rubber gloves at short notice. Anyway, I'm digressing again.
We're not doing this for our event. That's
We're
for
certainly
sure,
not.
yeah.
Certainly not. But that's the point. And I came away from there just thinking, oh, what was that all about? And clearly not every second matters. Think about if they'd got everyone back on the Thursday and everyone rocking, even just catching up on the Friday. So when they get back to business on Monday, they hit the ground running, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
But this is kind of the point. I just think there's just, it's much on the organizing team as is the individual to turn up. But
100%.
that individual,
mm-hmm.
Tell me about the mindset that you think they should have.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think just to reflect on that in the context of what you were saying, of course, the event has to be there, right? And you want to do something that connects to both whatever is going on before the event as well as after, because otherwise, why do the event? It should not be something in isolation. So creating clarity around the purpose of an event is, I think, really important so that people can show up matching that kind of urgency and energy. Because I have seen situations where leaders would say let's just make sure that we attend enough sessions because the team is putting a lot of effort and resourcing into this. And it's almost like we're just doing it for the sake of doing it. No, that's not what this is about, right? So if the setup is there, to your point, the way that individuals should be wanting to show up, and this goes back to vested interest, both on the company's behalf as well as the individuals attending it. It's hey, I'm going to get out in value what I put in by way of energy. Right. And so when we say get out of the stands, it's I think if you've been to an event like this, you can probably picture yourself sitting in the audience. I surely can from my days at Cisco, massive stadium in Vegas, for example.
Any rubber gloves?
No gloves for us. We had other stuff going on. And then also seen some smaller events, but it's the same thing, right? You would sit in the audience and then you can be comfortable. You can listen a bit. There may be opportunities for you to lean in, to give some of that energy, and that is what you want to do every single time. Because when you then go back into the territory, you will get more out of the event. And I feel a little bit silly almost saying this, but I've experienced this firsthand, where I just kind of decided for myself. It's okay, I'm gonna go there anyway. So the sessions that we're attending, I'm just gonna match the investment, right? Not necessarily out of respect or whatever, but just to make sure that we're getting out what is in there potential-wise. And so this can be in a workshop. It's okay, team is putting together a workshop that is designed for me to do a better job when I go back home, back into the field. Why not take advantage of the opportunity, right? And we've seen it even in the events that we got to support. You would see people showing up in different ways. One with hunger and with energy and excitement. And typically the output of, say, something like a metrics map where teams would create an M1 story would directly correlate with the way that they were showing up, right? And that's exactly the kind of difference that I mean.
I'm going to stick my neck out here a little bit and just say from my experience, from what I've seen at SKOs when we've been partnering with organizations doing them, there has never been a scenario where I've seen somebody not turn up, so to speak, in those workshop environments, those the entire event, but really where we would see them is where they're kind of not participating in the group settings, not working through those workshops, those great interactive sessions we run. I've never ever gone on to sort of know or hear or understand that the person that sits there leaning back like this is someone that's just having like an off day, or is like, they're just not great in those settings. Those people are typically like, that stands out like a sore thumb as somebody that's not bought into the direction you're going. And if they're not bought in on the same direction, then they're slowing you down. They're a dead weight kind of thing. And so SKOs, to your point, like, are you in the stands? Are you sat there just watching, waiting, like, is it a free bar tonight? Wonder what we've got, wonder what we got for dinner tonight, or, whatever, how long have we got left of this session?
Mm-hmm.
Or are you thinking, yes, I'm bought in, I can't wait to jump into this next year and get rocking and rolling? If the company's got it right and they've set the scene so that that's what the momentum should feel like, then you only want those people that want to be on the field, not in the stands.
Yeah,
right?
there is one thing with that though. It's like what we typically see. There's a team putting the event together, right? And they can do a tremendous job. But then how does the leadership team show up?
Yes.
Right? Because this person sitting like this, to your point, if it's a leader, that trickles down into like the rest of the team. And before you know it, like you're a negative force multiplier.
Exactly right.
So in the sense that leaders who see something like this happening with one of the individuals, it becomes their responsibility to either like pull them in, right? And make sure that they now change whatever behavior they have. But first be the example themselves, because they should be an extension of the direction that the company is setting, the event that is being put together, because otherwise, like, all of this won't work either.
Yeah, I drink to that.
Okay. Cheers, Andy.
Cheers.